Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and I'm coming to you full-faced because I don't want to jump scare you with no face makeup Erin. But this is a get ready with me. So this is the final look with this beautiful green eyeshadow. Maybe in the thumbnail or in the title I gave away what palette this is, but otherwise you guys might have to wait and see. But I am doing a reflecting video on the purchases that I made in the first quarter of last year. So I've had a whole year to use these products, either use them up, repurchase, all of that jazz. So definitely it's a little bit disorganized and I apologize for that because it is a get ready with me. I'm kind of like talking about a life update with the puppy dog. I'm talking about the makeup that I'm putting on my face, and I'm reviewing the products that I picked up in the first quarter of last year. So if you guys, again, want a kind of chatty makeup get ready with me video with reviews sprinkled in to play in the background, because I know tangent nobody asked for, but I love putting on videos like this in the background and like doing something because I feel like I just have a friend in the room talking to me while I am like getting another task done. So if you like videos like that too, make sure to stick around. I am rolling into no face makeup, so fresh faced Erin is coming at you right now. All right, I am coming at you barefaced, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of a try on, get ready with me style while going over the items that I purchased in the first quarter of last year. Hopefully, All Done Up Me did an intro for you guys, so we're going to be getting into the rest of it. And so, right as my iPad closes itself, but the first purchase that I did make in 2023 would be my sponges from DSMD Shop. She is up and running again. She is putting out new products. She is rocking it right now. So these are the sponges that I picked up in 2023, and this is it all wet and blown up. I actually washed my sponges this morning, and so I picked up 6 of these. So those are the 6 that I'm using right now. Another item that I picked up in the beginning of January would be my e.l.f. What is this? Halo Glow Liquid Filter. You would think that I would know what it is now. Now, this is not the same one. This is the one that I'm currently panning. The one I bought last year, I did pan that one to completion. So what I do, I have my little palette that I put my foundations on. I just do one dip in, and hard to do this with one hand, 2 dips in, and I mix that in with my foundation. So I don't have a whole lot of purchases for this quarter, and so I'm not going to be able to do the full face like in real time with you guys. So there are certain parts I'm going to skip ahead, but I'm going to go ahead and actually throw on my primer, and then mixing on my palette, I do mix in my Misha BB cream and my Juvia's Place I Am Magic foundation. So that is what I'm going to do and put that on my face. And when we get back, my face will have no more discoloration. I will be a flat canvas for us to get started on other products. So while I'm putting my foundation on my face, I can talk a little bit about the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. So that is an eyelash stuck to my primer. So of course that became very, very popular when it came out because it was one of the other dupes for the Charlotte Tilbury product. I've never tried that, so I cannot compare, but I don't ever use it on its own as a highlighter. I only use it to mix in with my foundations. I am oily. I am turning 40 this year, and I live in an extremely humid climate in Florida. So I like a matte foundation, but I don't always want my face to look flat and matte. So I like to actually have a more mattifying foundation and then mix something glowy into it. I've been doing that for a very long time. I used to mix, there was an Essence product that they used to have. It was a glowy primer, and I would mix that in with my foundations in the past also. But I have my first layer of my foundation down, so a lot of that discoloration is gone. So let me go ahead and prime my eyes. I'm going to go a little bit out of order because there was some eyeshadow palettes that I bought later on in the quarter, but I usually do my eyes after I do my foundation. So let me put on my eye primer and I'll show you those two palettes, and then I'm going to do a look with one of those palettes. I know a lot of you have been asking for more kind of like eye looks with things, and I've had quite a few questions about the formula on this one particular palette. So let me go ahead and prime my eyes, and then I'll get into the palettes. All right, so to prime my eyes, I used the Natasha Denona Eye Base, which I believe this is discontinued. I don't think she sells this anymore. And then I just have a like bone shade eyeshadow, which I have a huge pan on, but that is what I set my eyelids down on. So the two palettes that I ended up picking up in the first quarter would be the Cosmic Brushes Muse palette, and this is the inside here. Absolutely stunning, but I'm not going to do a look with this palette today, but I still do love that palette. But instead I did order my first, was this my first one? I believe, yes, this was my first custom palette from Lethal. I did end up combining my two 12 pans together to make this 24 pan palette, but I do want to use the Lethal shades today. I've had a couple of you ask about the formula for Lethal, and so I thought that this was a perfect time to do a look and show you guys what I do with these colors on my eyes. Now, I kind of don't know what, I mean, obviously we have greens and we have burgundies, so we can't go too crazy with it. The only like extremely special shade that I have in here is this one in the middle. This one I think shifts 3 different ways. Like, it is gorgeous, but I don't know if I want to use that one. I'm kind of feeling staying over in this kind of side right here. So probably what I'll do is I'll pop up a graphic up here with what shade I'm dipping into so that you guys will know what shades I'm using. I do have, let me put these two back. I have a brush from Morphe, and then I have my brushes from Singe. So these are the brushes that I'm going to be using today to create my look. So let me go ahead and start off with, I like to start off with either the darkest shade out in the outer corner, or I start off with a mid-tone in the middle so that I can kind of blend a lighter shade into the darker shade and have that mid-tone. So I think that's what I'm going to do. This is the Singe Beauty EO2, which is kind of in the bundle, there's a larger blender, the medium blender, and then a more precise blender. So this is the medium one. I do have my mirror over here. I think I'm going to tilt it up just a little bit, but it's going to create a weird glare on my chest. So just know that that is what that glare is right there. That is from my mirror. But we'll go ahead and we'll start building up this kind of, it's not quite mustard, it's almost like it's like a Dijon mustard shade. We'll start building that up in my crease, kind of in the middle. And before I clean my brush, I like to do it on the other side as well. I'm really kind of packing the color into that crease there. Because I have smaller eyes and I have a lot of room up here, but not a lot of room on my lids, I start in my crease, and then when I have the color that I like, then I start blending it up, because I don't want to start blending things up to my eyebrow right away. I also look back a little bit so that I can see that crease and know that I'm getting in all the way. So that is how I deal with my tiny eyelids that don't have a lot of room for color. Now I'm taking the more precise blender. I don't really use the bigger blender a whole lot because I have small eyes, so I don't really have a use for a smaller blending. But let me go in. I want to go in with more of this khaki green color, and we'll see how that looks as I drop my brush. But we'll see how that khaki green looks on the outer. I love this precise blending brush because you can just get right in that crease and put the color right where you want it. So since I do my eyeshadow before I do my concealer and before I do my final kind of foundation layer, I can get a little messy with it because I have all of the opportunity in the world to clean it up. But man, look how that color has just nicely packed on. And this is not even the deepest shade in the palette. Oh, that is beautiful. Blends perfectly, isn't patchy. I'm going back in with that first shade that I put down, and I'm just blending the edge where those two shades meet. And then since this shade is actually coming off a little bit lighter than I thought it would, I'm going to take it all the way down in the crease. I try not to put too much darkness on this part of my lid because that will just make your eyes get closed in. And I actually usually go back with my inner corner shade and kind of highlight that area just because I do not want to put a lot of dark shadow on that little kind of like fatty, I say fatty because it's squishy, but that fatty area around your eye socket. But that right there, with two shades, we have a beautiful base for an eye look. I'm going to go back in with that same light shade and I'm going to just blend out the edges of that dark shade because that is going to be, this is where I'm looking at how far up above my crease I want my color to go so that you guys can actually see the eye look when my eyes are closed or when my eyes are open. Because again, I have little eyes and my lids just disappear. So let's go ahead and blend out and soften that edge of that darker shade. And again, these mattes blend so perfectly. Like light pressure, very, very light pressure, and they are just blending together perfectly. You can still see the two colors. They haven't like joined together and become muddy, but again, before I do my concealer, I do want to do a little bit of connecting my lower lash line with my outer V. So this is the EO4, which is kind of like a smudger brush. I'm going to go in with that dark shade that we have on the outer corner. And I'm just kind of dabbing and wiggling at my lower lash line and connecting that with the outer V. And again, when I go in with my concealer, I can clean it up and get it to be a really nice sharp line. I'm going to bring that in and down a little bit, and it doesn't matter how far down it goes. All of that can be cleaned up. And then the same light shade we have up top, we'll go ahead and blend out the rest of that with there. I personally like having shadow on my under eye. And this is for me. I know a lot of people don't always like shadow on their under eye. They think it drags everything down. And again, like right now, I'm looking kind of Uncle Festery, but when it all comes together, it'll be great. But I understand why some people don't want to do a lower lash line. For me, I just feel like it frames my eyes and makes my eyes pop more when I have something on the lower lash line. But you do you do what makes you comfortable. All right, so I'm going to leave the mattes like this for right now. I'm going to go in with my NYX glitter glue. And I think I said in my buys and buys that it took, I'll have to look back and see how many exact uses, but it's because this is how much you need. Right there. Little tiny bit. And I just kind of squish it between the two fingers and get it on the lid. I do like to take shimmers all the way out to the outer V. So I do put my glitter glue on the entire lid. And because usually my shimmers go up into my crease a little bit so that you can actually see them, again, I just kind of, I'm not precise with it. I messily pat that all over. So I'm taking the Singe EO1, which is a smudger brush, but it comes to a point, which is actually really nice for picking up shadow and kind of packing it in different areas. So, and as I'm going, if I can remember to do it, I will also put the name of the shade. Since this is a custom palette, I'll put the name of the shade that I'm using. But I'm just taking a darker green shimmer and just kind of patting it on this outer V to add that shimmer out there. This is pretty much the darkest green shimmer that I have in the palette. So we're going to get that. And I took up about a third of my eyelid on that one. Now I have to figure out what I want to do on the entire lid. Sorry if I moved a little bit. My husband is down on the military base getting a new pair of shoes. And of course he was like, what size shoes do I wear? So I had to go look at his shoes real quick. But let me swatch my possible shades on my fingers. My camera's been weird today about, there we go, it actually zoomed in on this one. So these are my options. I'm thinking this one with this one on the inner corner. I think that would be beautiful. But while I have them, Pinky's never swatched the best. But, and on the knuckles. Oh, beautiful. Love it. Okay. Almost wiped it on my pants and not on my towel. Hopefully my glitter glue has not dried completely, but we're going to go in with that first shade. And let me tilt my mirror again a little bit. But that's going to go on the majority of the lid. Oh, this is so pretty. It's like a green with a gold flip, which I think is just and this is going on with a brush. This is not even me using my finger. So just look how shiny and impactful that is with just a brush and a dry brush. I am not wetting the brush. This is going in with that lighter shade on the inner corner. This is not a wet brush. I'm not spraying it. I am just going straight in from the palette onto the eyes. Oh, that is beautiful. Now, again, because my lid is so small, what I like to do is I'm going back in with the E06, which is the small blender. I'm going in with the shade that I put on the middle of the lid, and I'm looking up, and I'm going to just blend that into the crease and use that shade to kind of blend everything together. And so if we're seeing one cohesive shadow in the crease, our eyes kind of see that we're just moving from one shade to the other, and it's not so stark of a line. But that, I'm actually happy where, actually I'm going to take a little bit of that dark green, put that in the crease just a tiny bit, just to bring that shimmer up. Then using the same E06, I'm going to go into that light matte that we were using in the very beginning, and I'm just going to redefine, and this is where I don't mind getting a little bit darker into here because I've already laid down that light shadow on the inner corner, and when I go in with my actual highlight inner corner, that'll lighten up even more as well. But I just want to redefine that matte shade in the crease, or actually, like, I'm above the crease now, let's be honest, but just want to make sure that we can see that nice Dijon color above the sparkle. And then one more time with our darkest matte, we're going to come back in and kind of redefine and redarken that outer corner. So I lay down my mattes, I do my shimmers, I go back in with my mattes, and I just kind of make sure that you can actually see them. So with our big blend, or this is the medium blender, so this is the E02, and I wiped it off, so there's no shadow on this. This is a quote-unquote clean brush. I'm just kind of fanning out those edges a little bit to get them blended out and blended up so that we kind of have a smooth transition where you almost don't see where the shadows start. So this is where I'm going to leave the eyes for right now. I'll come back into this palette and touch up some things, but I do have some fallout because I was putting those shimmers on with a brush. And so this is the beautiful part about doing your eyes. Even though I'm wiping off some foundation, guess what? It's fixed. We're good to go. So what's my next item on? Sorry, I'm still texting with my husband about the debacle with his shoes. So what is our next one? I'm gonna do a bunch of steps, and I'll come back when I'm about to do cream blush because I want to talk about that one. Actually, I feel like I'm in a chatty mood, so I'm just gonna chat with you guys while I do the rest of my makeup. So we'll have to call this like a chatty get ready with me while reflecting on my purchases from last year. But I wanted to kind of give you guys, since I'm actually, like I said, I'm talking to my husband about kind of what our plans are for next week. And so I kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. And so Mr. Washburn, you guys saw that he was limping, or I told you guys that he was limping in my vanity tour and kind of like how I store my makeup. And so he was limping for quite a long time, but he started limping at the beginning of March, and so I was able to get him into our vet here, and our vet was able to kind of, examine him and schedule x-rays because they had to sedate him for x-rays. But after we got all of that done, we found out that he has elbow dysplasia. So basically, there's two or three growth plates in the elbow on puppies. And so as they're growing, that's basically where they're growing from. And then those fuse, after they're not growing anymore. But he was growing so fast that one of his growth plates in his elbow did not fuse, and it actually split apart. There's a pretty big gap between the piece of bone and the rest of the elbow kind of apparatus. So I think the way that it kind of looks, like the part of our elbow that's the funny bone, the pointy part at the end, that's the part that is just floating in his elbow right now. So of course, that was not the news that we wanted to hear, because then that means surgery. And not necessarily we didn't want to hear that because of the cost, because of course, the cost is high, but we're okay with taking care of him. It's just we don't want him to be hurt. So we scheduled an appointment with an orthopedic veterinarian, which, I mean, he's great. He actually saw one of our other dogs like 12 years ago, and he used to teach at the Auburn University Veterinarian School, so he has 30 years of teaching experience up there. So, I mean, he is a really great vet. So we went and saw him, and they did x-rays of both of Washburn's arms, and we found out that he has the elbow dysplasia in both of his elbows, which we knew that was a great possibility, because usually if it's happening in one elbow, it's going to happen in both. So basically, he is scheduled for surgery, not this week that you guys are seeing this go up, but next week he is scheduled for surgery. And so we will just be taking him, and we are very, very happy that the recovery time is not long. They basically go in there and they remove those pieces of bone. Like, there's no way to go in there and reattach them. They just remove them, and he'll be able to live a relatively normal life. He'll have some issues with arthritis, but we are catching it very, very soon, very, very quickly, and we're getting it taken care of quickly, and he's still growing. So the vet is hopeful that, basically a whole lot of damage wasn't done between the time period when we noticed he was limping, and by it will only be about a month between when we noticed him limping and when he's getting surgery, in about a month. So, he didn't restrict his activity, so he is still running around being his normal goofy self. And so we are just happy that after the surgery, there'll be about 10 days of recovery where he will have to kind of take it easy so he doesn't hurt his stitches. But there's no way for him to kind of re-injure the elbow, because they're basically just taking bone out. They're not fusing anything. So we are happy that it is a relatively easy fix, but of course we would have preferred that Mr. Wash wasn't going through all of this. But I mean, that is part of being a dog owner, and that is part of making sure that they are taken care of. And funny but not funny, a little while ago we started the process to do like probate on my mother-in-law. She passed back in 2020, and we just never did anything with some of her assets that were out there. And the amount of the assets that we're getting back from my mother-in-law's probate is basically the same amount as the surgery. So it's kind of like, well, thank you, Mama, for for basically making sure that the puppy dog is taken care of. But that is the update on Mr. Washburn. I'll have to show you guys how he's doing after he has surgery. But again, not anything that you ever want your dog to have to experience, but I'm glad that it is something that we are able to easily take care of. And I'm very thankful that we have a really great orthopedic veterinarian in our area to do surgeries like that. All right, so I am stopping at this point with cream blush because I did want to talk about, where is it? So I did pick up in that order in the beginning of January. I picked up the e.l.f. Dirty Talk lipstick. This was their like NARS dupe that has the magnetic closure, but I did dig all of mine out because I was not a fan of this formula. It's a very dry formula, but I basically mixed it into my Franken Cream blush. So I am still going to do a video where I'm going to remelt my other cream blushes into here, but I wanted to show you guys how I put this on, basically with my sponge. But this is what Dirty Talk went into making, is this beautiful blush pinky color. So because this is almost, this is not underpainting, but because I powder my face, I can go hard, which it looks a lot brighter in real life than it does. The camera or the lights are washing it out quite a bit, but I can go hard with my blush because I do powder, and the powder actually makes it to where it tones down the color quite a bit. So you guys can see I put a little bit of my blush on the top of my forehead because that is where, if I was to sunburn, I would sunburn at the crown of my head. I still blush the bridge of my nose, and then I blush a little bit underneath my chin. I don't know. You guys know I'm obsessed with blush. The other thing that I do, which, let me open my blush back up again. I kind of blush the outer like V of my eyes, like right underneath, right there. Because when I do blush, I connect my eye look to my blush. And so I don't want a stark like concealer line right there. And that is just how I like to do it. And of course, my powder blush will end up going up into there too. But that is how I use my Franken Cream blush, and that is what Dirty Talk went into. But I guess to bring everything round robin, the whole reason that I was talking to my husband about his shoe dilemma is that when we drop Mr. Wash off next week for his appointment for his surgery, we can go on to the military base in the other town and see what they have, because he said that he was not able to find his size at the military base that is closer to us. So I'm using the Nakia Joy brightening powder. So this is the pink powder that came in. My lights are, can you tell that that's pink? It doesn't look pink in the camera, but this is her pink powder. And I've been trying it out, and it does brighten, but I don't know if it brightens more than anything else. I mean, I love her formula, so I'm enjoying using it. Maybe it does look brighter on camera, but I'm only doing it in kind of the center of my face. Let's do here and here with the pink powder. Let's do across here. And I am oily, so yes, I powder everything. And typically what I like to do, now I'm going to just go in with the regular Nakia Joy powder for the rest of my face. What I do like to powder down my whole face, and it does end up making me look relatively dry when my makeup is first done, but I know that within about an hour my oils will start coming through and it'll end up kind of making everything meld together. So in the morning time when I'm like rushing out the door, I know that as soon as I hit the humidity outside and I start sweating, that my oils will come through and make it look a whole lot less dry and powdery. It's kind of the sacrifice of having oily skin, is that when you powder down, you do look very powdery and very dry in the very beginning. So this is where we're at. I'm going to do my bronzer, which I'm not going to show you this pan because I do not want to spoil it. But as I'm doing this, I can kind of show you guys some other things that I picked up in the first quarter of last year and give you, well, while I'm doing this, since I'm using my hands, I did pick up an ordinary lactic acid serum. I like to mix that in with my lotions and use it on my body and on my KP on my arms. I did use that one up and I have not repurchased yet. So that is something that, I mean, I would get it again. It's a lovely product and it mixes in really well with lotions, but it's not anything that I've repurchased. I've actually found some other ways to kind of exfoliate, and I just got a dog hair on my face, which is fabulous. Oh, this is another item that I purchased at the beginning of last year. I used this one up already, but it is the e.l.f. Wow Brow I have repurchased. And so usually after I powder my face, I go in with the tinted brow mascara and just tint the hairs. So the brow pencil I use to kind of tint my skin to create a base color because my brows are more blonde and I dye my hair darker. So I do have to darken my brows. So the brow pencil kind of darkens the skin and then this darkens the hair because I do not dye my eyebrows with my hair color. I have in the past. It's just since I went darker, whenever I dye my hair, the dye will very easily dye my skin and like, what's the right word? It'll stain my skin. So I don't dye my eyebrows that often. So let me look. So we had the Wow Brow, we had all that. Something I did decluttered was the Milani Cheek Kiss Blush in Cheeky Coral. It was a liquid blush in a tube and it was basically orange. It was not coral, it was orange. I did use that to mix in with one of my cream blushes to create a more coral color. So that was useful, but otherwise I did not enjoy that one. Let me get two other ordinary products out of the way. So I did pick up a niacinamide serum. I use this in my daytime skincare. I've already used that one up from last year. This is a repurchase, and so this is a constant repurchase for me. And then I did pick up an ordinary alizac acid. Ooh, I did well with that one. So I did pick up this one as well. This is the 10%, and it has stuff all over it because something is leaking. And this is going to be a spoiler to my buys and buys, and I'll just say this and then I'll let my future self explain more, but I am decluttering this. So if you want to know why I'm decluttering this, sorry for this suspense, but I don't want to repeat myself in two videos. But if you want to know why I'm decluttering this, then go ahead and watch out for my buys and buys video that goes up on the 14th, and I'll go deeper into this one. But while I have you guys here, I am going to use my Pat McGrath blush palette that I created, and I'm going to use the blush down here that I frankened. Again, I know that you guys have been asking to see kind of what these turned out to be. So I have my Wet n Wild blush brush that I love, and oh, it turned out so pretty. And I bathe myself in blush. I hope that you guys know that, and I'm totally okay with it. I am living my 80s and 90s dream over here, and I'm so for it. But that is what that beautiful, oh, blush looks like. Now, I do say that I like to connect my eye look with my blush, and then I'm going back in with the EO2, and I'm just going into that blush and picking a little bit up, and I'm just going to run that underneath, and so I just follow that outer V, and I connect that pink color with the blush, and I have a puppy in here dreaming and running in his dream. So if you hear puppy dog dreaming noises, that is him. And I go a little bit under. Oh, I love just connecting all of that, blending it all, because again, it almost feels like one just blends into the next. And this has a little bit of shimmer and sparkle to it because, of course, this was a mix of blushes and highlighters. So even though this is already a glowy blush, of course, I'm going to put on more highlighter. But let me spray my face down real quick with my setting spray, and then we will get into highlighter and the rest of the items that I picked up, because I do have some hair care and some other skincare over here to talk about. And y'all know that I douse my face. Just love the way it feels. Love how it melts everything down too. But while I'm getting all of this tamped in, love it, love it. Let's go over some skincare items. And so I do have, and this is the thing that leaks. This thing leaks all the time. But this is the Paula's Choice BHA Exfoliating Liquid. And I think I just rubbed sparkles all over it from my towel, but that's okay. Again, spoiler, this is actually an empty, so I pulled this out of my empties bin for March, but this is a holy grail. I've bought tons of these since this is empty. I do have a fresh one in there, and then not only that, but this is not the one that I purchased last year. I can usually make these last about 6 months, and so I buy about 2 of them per year, but I love this. Again, with oily skin, I do end up with congestion in my pores, and so this has really helped cut down on the little white heads and the blackheads. I still get hormonal cystic acne. This doesn't touch that, but it keeps away everything else. So I love that. And when I made that order, they had a free gift. And so I ended up with one of their treatments. And so this is the Skin Perfecting 25% AHA plus 2% BHA exfoliant peel. So this you only leave on for 10 minutes. It is kind of like an iridescent shade to it. I don't know if I'll be able to show you guys. It almost comes out like unicorn something or another. But I like that it has a little bit of a color to it, so at least you can see that you're putting something on and where you're putting it on. And not only that, but you can see when you have it all off. Because this is a 10-minute treatment because it is high in acids. So you put it on, baby smooth skin afterwards. I need to use this more often. I'm not exfoliating like I should be, and I'm trying to not hurt my skin too much. Since I'm also using the different gel as like a retinol, I don't want to exfoliate and do the retinol too close together, so I make sure to be aware. And then also I'm doing my prescription strength of the alizac acid, which is the 15%, which again, I'll talk about it more in my buys and buys, but because I'm using all of these different like strengths of actives, I try not to exfoliate too much. But you guys want to see my repressed highlighters in action as well. So let's go ahead, and I'm kind of digging this one all the way over here because it has a little bit of that gold shift that also the other inner corner shade had. So we will lighten that up on the inner corner. And this is a Sephora brush that I got in a kit a long time ago. It's rubbed off. Pointed something. And of course, my 40-year-old eyesight doesn't help either. Pointed crease brush, that's what this is called. But I use this for my inner corner. And then, like I said, I like to take a little bit of highlight. And again, I tilt my head back and I go into that inner crease. and I just add lightness back to that little spongy area. It makes me think of Angie. She talks about how she has like a hood right there. Mine's not a hood. It hasn't sagged enough, or I don't have enough of a fat pad there for it to be an actual hood, but it does poke out a little bit because again, that's a little fat pad in your face. And so I just like to highlight that and bring it forward instead of bringing it back because I want to open my eyes out more instead of bringing them and closing them off. So I bring that highlighter a little bit up into that little fat pad area. Do a little bit underneath the brow bone, and then we're going to take our bigger highlighting brush and we're going to highlight the face, which I am okay about shining from high heaven because I already left the house for the day and went out and did the grocery shopping. Tomorrow is Easter. I'm filming this on the Saturday before. So tomorrow's Easter, so our grocery store is closed tomorrow. I usually do my grocery shopping on Sunday, but since they are closed tomorrow, I went ahead and I did our grocery shopping today. So that is that highlighter in action. And yep, we can catch that glow right there. Beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. I did gel down my eyebrows so they'll stay in place. Ooh, now is a perfect opportunity for me to use some of my Project 10 Uses eyeliners. Let me grab them and we'll put those on too. I'm going to use 3 of them. So I do have, in front of me is just cluttered with stuff. This is the Clinique Quick Line in Intense Midnight. So I'm going to just use that to tight line. Then we have Chartreuse and we have So Celestial. This is this beautiful green shadow stick, but let's go ahead and just kind of rub that at the lash line on the outer V, and again, just add a little bit of definition out there. I can even wing this out a little bit and again, create the illusion of that wing. I love these shadow sticks for that exact purpose. They're so easy to just even just grab the product with your finger and just kind of wing it out a little bit. Beautiful. And then Chartreuse is very close to those beautiful green golds that we have on the lid. So I'm going to actually take this on the lower lash line. Ooh, and add that pop. That is beautiful. And we tie in that highlighted inner corner with the rest of the look. I'm going to take it up and add a little bit of sparkle just right there. It's almost like in the tight line area of the inner corner. I like to add that lightness as well. Ooh, that looks pretty. And that makes it to where I still have a little bit of the shadow under my eyes and I have a little bit of that definition from the regular shadows, but then that just adds that extra pop. Let me put in my like inner rim shade, which is this really old Wet n Wild brow highlighter. This thing, it needs to be retired, but it just keeps on going. So we brightened up that inner rim. Let me put on mascara, then I'll talk about my last 2 products. Then I'll do lips and we will wrap everything up with this look using some of the products that I purchased in the first quarter of last year. All right, I am back to do my lips. And why did I think that I could talk and put on lip liner at the same time? Let me do this, put on my lip shade, and then I'll do my last 2 products. Sorry. All right, so as I touch up the lips a little bit, the last 2 items that I purchased in the first quarter of last year would be the Murad, what is this, AHA BHA exfoliating cleanser. This was 50% off during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty last year. I love this. This is actually my second one that I've been using. I am using it. I had to pull it out of my shower today. And so I do use this on my face, but again, very rarely because it is a physical and chemical exfoliant, but this leaves your face feeling baby smooth. I love it, but I only use it like once a week. And so this really does last me a really long time. And then the last item that I picked up last year was an Ava NYC product, and so this is the Main Magic 10-in-1 primer. This is kind of like what they talk about, the dupe for the Wizard from Amika. Now, I did take my Amika cap and put it on this product, and even then, this is spraying weird with this product. So I think it's this product, and it's in tin packaging, so if you're hearing the click clacks. But I think it's actually this product that is weird with these nozzles. So I don't know how I feel about that right out the gate, the product is not going to work well. But I mean, I'm going to use it up. I still have a way of using it. Basically, every time I pull down the sprayer, it gets stuck and I kind of have to use my finger to push it back out, but it still sprays beautifully. Actually, I washed my hair this morning and I put some of the Verb Ghost Oil in it, but it could use a spray of something, a little kitsch hair thing. And so my hair is still a little bit damp. Let's spray into here. So it's the little, I'll call it a trigger. The trigger stays down. I just have to push it back up and then we're ready to spray again. Smells wonderful, makes my hair feel so smooth. But that is the last product that I ended up picking up, and we'll run it through the rest of my hair and we'll see how my hair does with the rest of the air drying for the day. But that's my hair straight out of half dry out of the shower. So those are my curls, my waves that come out. I know everybody's like, let your waves run free, let your hair do what it wants to do. It maybe looks good like this for like a day and a half, and then anybody else, I have cowlicks in the very back of my head, so the hair in the back of my head never looks good either. It's always standing up in weird areas or making it look like I have a huge bald spot in the back of my head. So the things that we deal with are first world problems, that is for sure. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put on some real clothes and maybe some jewelry and stuff like that, and then I'll be right back to do our outro for our reflecting get ready with me from first quarter of 2023. Alrighty, I am back. I'm just cleaning around the house today, so t-shirt will do. But looking back on these items, there are a few things that I am decluttering. How many things have I used up completely? One, two, there's 5 items that I have used up completely. The sponges that I'm using right now, these probably have another few months of life left in them before I will go ahead and pull out my new sponges. These are my Holy Grail sponges. Love them. I'll try to link as much as possible down below for you guys. Not necessarily the makeup that I was using, because I link a lot of this stuff all the time through my project pans and things like that, but definitely I want to link the things that I talked about in my reflecting. But I don't think, the only thing that I would think that I would regret purchasing would be that Milani Cheek Kiss blush. It was just not very good at all. It wasn't even a good product. Apart from it being straight up orange, it was not a good product because it would lift my foundation whenever I would put it on my cheeks. Maybe if you are a no makeup where you don't wear a foundation at all and you just want a flush on your cheeks, maybe that one would work for you, but otherwise I did not care for that product. But overall, I think that I really do like everything that I picked up. Even though the e.l.f. lipstick did not work out as a lipstick, it works out perfectly as a cream blush. So I always find ways to repurpose my items if they do not work for me, or at least I try my best to. And really, I mean, this and, let me bend down and get it, the Muse palette, these are stars of the show. I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing a look with this more green side of this palette. I love the Lethal formula. Like I said, these went on with a brush with this much pigment and this much sparkle and impact. Beautiful formula. So I know right now, I don't know how long it's lasting, but they're doing a sale. Get on their list for emails, see when they're having sales. Do not purchase this stuff full price. These are very pricey indie brand single shadows. I think, what was it? My 12 pan palette that I built myself cost me $79. So again, not cheap shadows. And if you put a bunch of special shades in there, of course, they are going to be more expensive than the mattes or just their straight shimmers. So of course, know what you're getting yourself into when you're looking at these custom palettes and these kind of like build your own palettes with indie brands. But I mean, the formula is just amazing. So I cannot speak more highly for Lethal's formula, and they almost got me with sending out emails for the sale that's going on right now, but I feel like I have a palette coming in the mail on Tuesday, so we will see what I can do, if I can pop in and do a look with that one for you guys as well, because I'm very excited about that palette coming in. But otherwise, I hope that you guys enjoyed this chatty get ready with me with a little bit of an update about the poor puppy dog needing surgery. But like I said, it is a standard surgery that we're very, very confident with a very short recovery time. So we are, I think, as lucky as we can be in the circumstance that he only needs those little pieces of bone taken out of his elbows. But I hope that you enjoyed also seeing, like I said, the get ready with me chatting a little bit, seeing the products that I use, getting my full reviews and kind of takes on them, which ones I have repurchased, which ones I would not repurchase again, which ones have already been decluttered. I thank you guys so, so much for being here, for the continued support. I am in awe at how much this channel has grown and how much feedback I'm getting from you guys about how my little rambles and my little psychobabbles really have been helpful for you guys. It makes my heart so warm and happy. You guys don't even know. So I am so thankful for each and every one of you. I'm going to remind you to do all the things. Hit a thumbs up on this video. Drop me that comment down below. Let me know if you know and if you keep track, what was your favorite item that you picked up in the first quarter of last year? Let me know what standout, life-changing product you guys picked up. I am very interested and I'm looking to try some more things this year. But definitely subscribe for more. I have Project Panning, Conscious Consumerism, Eyeshadows, Chit Chats, Doggies, all that stuff. I'll make sure to link my most recent videos up in eyes throughout the video and down below, just so you guys can check out some more from me. But I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye!